Congressman, thanks for coming back on the show. Let's start with the economy. I'm reading stories that do not look good for some kind of a compromise on another phase of stimulus. Where do we stand?
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. Yeah, the negotiations are ongoing. I talked to administration officials last night to get their perspective on it, and they're ongoing. They're going this morning, and I think they actually believe they're kind of close to getting something, but I'm not sure it's everything that the Democrats want, because the Democrats are looking at about a $3 trillion spend, and right now Mitch McConnell's looking at about a $1.2 to $1.5 trillion spend. So I think they're trying to get there. Hard to say when it's going to happen, though, but my guess is if it's not next week, it'll be the week after, sometime probably early August.
So then it won't be before the August recess, but something might get done, and we might be able to have it in place so people don't miss a payment?
The way I anticipate is that the House is going to be in that first week in August.
Okay.
So the Senate's in the first week in August, and we go into an August recess, but I think that I've effectively planned on being here that first week in August.
What are the sticking points? It's not just the dollar amount, but what are the things that that the Democrats want to spend money on that add up to that other $2 trillion or close to it that the Republicans are saying no to? What are those divisions, or just a couple of them?
Yeah, just a couple of them are they want more money for unemployment bonus checks. So right now the federal level is $600. That expires in a week. They want to keep that up, and they want to keep that going through next spring. And I think that McConnell is trying to get to half that or a third of that. So that's a sticking point there. So they want to spend that. That's a lot. That's a big, huge number when you start looking at that. Then they want to add money. The Democrats want to add essentially just short of $1 trillion to go to state and local jurisdictions without restrictions. So they could use it for everything from shoring up retirement funds to social work programs or whatever else that they want to do. So those are two big points right there,
yeah.
Mike.
They're huge. So the Democrats want to keep the $600 and they want to go into the spring with it. Does Mitch McConnell's plan call for a reduction in the dollar amount and the time frame, or a little of each? What is it that calls for that's different?
Well, we haven't seen the latest proposal, but the last I saw was he was going down somewhere between $200 and $300, and he was going to leave it open anywhere from October to the end of the year. So, I mean, that's
okay.
That's kind of where they are, and he's kind of trying to find his sweet spot, because Republicans in the Senate are you've got a big number that don't want to do anything. They're ready to get this thing open, and there's a significant number of people in the House that simply say, let's incentivize people to go back to work and not incentivize people not to go back to work.
Okay, so the Congressman Andy Biggs is joining us. The governor sent a letter to all the members of the Arizona delegation asking for about $1.5 billion for the state of Arizona and the citizens here. Where do we stand with that?
That's just getting wrapped up with this negotiation, Mike.
Okay.
So it's one of the moving parts.
Okay.
And just so you know, Mike, there's still roughly $1 trillion from the last package that has not been dispersed. So, including for state and local, including for K-12 schools and for universities. So there's money that they haven't ever actually distributed from the last CARES package.
All right, so let's shift to opening of schools. The governor said yesterday that there should be a choice in every district in the state, that if parents and students and teachers want to be in the classroom, that option should be made available. Is there going to be any federal help making sure that the schools are able to implement whatever's necessary to keep the schools safe when that happens?
There's still over $13 billion from the last CARES package for schools that has not been allocated yet. And I've been trying to ascertain whether that's because schools aren't asking for it, and if it's so, is it because they don't know about it, or why has it been so slow in getting out? But there is money there ostensibly to do exactly what you're talking about, which is to help them ameliorate some of the coronavirus-related concerns that they have. I mean, the idea is to mitigate risk, right? So that's really what that money is supposed to be for.
And it seems like with the numbers, the way the numbers are playing out, that it's really not the students that are in danger here. It might be staff, whether it's teachers, support staff, or administration. They seem to be more at risk. So it would think that some of these mitigation factors would be geared more toward them.
Yeah, that's right. And so they've got to make some determinations because you and I both know you can never eliminate all risk. But the risk factor, and CDC came out with guidance yesterday, and they pointed out that in a normal flu season, children are about 5 times more at risk for catching, transmitting, and the rare case fatality than children are under COVID. So that's critical. So you're right. The question is, how do you mitigate risk for those, particularly in a vulnerable population of teachers? So some teachers are going to be more vulnerable than others, and you have to address that.
One of the big issues that talked about the distance learning in Arizona is the lack of, there are about 200,000 students that don't have access to the internet that would be able to do the distance learning. Is that something that the federal government's helping to alleviate in Arizona as well?
Some of that money from the last CARES Act was supposed to go to that, and then that is an issue that's on the plate for the next relief package. So yeah, that's recognized widely here, and but even Mike, here's what's critical: some of the studies that were done on the last CARES packages, even where there was access, you have jurisdictions where the students 25%, 30% never even logged on. Then you have other jurisdictions where within a week or so you had 25 to 50% who quit logging on. And so they end up falling further behind. You have, in Arizona, you have some charters and even some of the districts that do online learning. They know how to deal with that because they're experts in it. They've been doing that. But where districts have not been doing that and they get into that business, we're seeing just really woeful results and quite frankly, and participation.
Well, and I think the goal is we all would like to see students in classrooms as soon as possible. I always appreciate the time. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you about this stimulus in the coming weeks because I think this is what people are focused on with D.C. is doing something for the people, not that don't want to go back to work, but that can't yet, to just stay financially secure or at least to get through this tough time to get back to work and rebuild.
Got it. Looking forward to talking to you. I'll keep you posted, Mike.
All right.
For sure.
Thanks, Congressman.